What's going on, everyone? Hope you guys are all doing great today. Well, a couple things. First thing is I'm kind of working on a lot of projects today. This is actually like one of my favorite blankets. I'm actually kind of working on a lot of projects today, and so I'm probably this is not a vlog, by the way, wasn't gonna shoot a vlog, so I was like, but I really want to like create something today. So I thought what I could do is make a video here answering a question I get asked all the time. I've made podcasts about it. I've responded to so many messages about it. So I thought I'd make a video and post it here for all of you to benefit from people asking me these. Next thing is I want to give away some more postcards before I start. The winners of the postcards from yesterday's video, I don't know yet because I haven't posted that video yet. So I'll announce those winners in the beginning of tomorrow's video. But I'm gonna give 3 people 3 more chances to win. All you have to do, because on days when I don't, well, of course, there's days when I don't want to post or I don't want to be around my computer. That's normal. But on days when I feel like I want to give you guys some value and stuff and make a video for you guys, I sometimes am not sure like exactly what would help you guys out the best. So to win these postcards, so today's video is about solo travel. And the next time when I post a video like this, what would you guys like to know, or how can I help you guys out? Like, top 5 things I wish I knew before I started YouTube, which is coming up sometime in the future. I'll film that video. Well, first of all, leave where you're from. And second of all, leave a video title or a topic, something that would be cool that I will make a video about in the future. Something that you're curious about or want to know about. And that's kind of it. And I will pick 3 of you guys and send you postcards. And I will announce the winners of yesterday's postcards in tomorrow's video. Okay, now time to get started with I'm not even sure what I named this video. Top 10 tips for solo travel, or why you should solo travel. I'm not sure what I'm gonna name it, but let's get started. Number 1, you need to embrace the awkward. When you start solo traveling and traveling by yourself, if you've never done it before, there's gonna be an awkward thing. You're gonna think that maybe it should be super easy and everything should be fine, but no, it's kind of awkward in the beginning because maybe you don't know where you're going, or maybe you've been to this place 1,000 times but you're finally going by yourself, and it's not the same as traveling with a group of people. So you gotta understand that you have to embrace the awkwardness of it, and then it just gets easier over time. It's like meeting new people. Like for me, I love meeting new people, but when I go and approach someone new who I don't know, there's always gonna be that moment of awkward. And as you get better at it, that moment of awkward just gets smaller and smaller. It never goes away. It just gets a little bit smaller. And that's something in solo traveling that happens all the time. So don't feel bad, don't feel nervous, don't feel weird about it. It's just something that always happens. And number 2, it is what you make it. One thing that I do love about solo travel is in your hands. When you're traveling, it's what you want it to be. If you want to have an outgoing trip where you're going around meeting a lot of people, that's what it's going to be. If you want to have a trip where you don't speak a word at all to anyone, that's what it's going to be. And I find a lot of times that a lot of people kind of sabotage their solo travel or traveling by themselves because they go into this traveling with the preconceived notion that I don't know anyone, I don't speak the language, it's gonna be horrible. And you automatically limit your beliefs like that. And I think that's a very dangerous thing to do. You know, and I think that's one reason why when people are asking me like, Luke, how can you solo travel all the time? It's because I know, like, I'm going to a place, like most people are like, I'm going to a place, I don't know anyone, and I don't speak the language, and I know nothing about the place. And for me, when I go there, I'm like, man, I'm going to this place, I don't know anyone, I don't speak the language, like, I don't know anything about the place. You know, it's all about kind of how you shift your mind to look at it, you know, and I find that really gets me going and makes me just be like, okay, yeah, I can definitely do this, and I'm excited to do it. Number 3, solo traveling will let you realize how little you know. Like, if you're just going local or staying in your country, of course that's a little bit different because you kind of know a lot of things. But when you start to really push those barriers of what you've experienced and your culture, you're going to a new place that you didn't even know this kind of thing existed. But when you go to that place, it's normal for them. And you realize like, wow, I had no idea cultures did this. I had no idea. For example, for me, one of the most crazy things, which I'm kind of used to from living in Europe for 8-9 years, is like kissing people when you see them, like kissing them on the cheek. Like for me, like in America, this never happens. This doesn't exist. Like America, you see someone, you shake their hand or give them a hug and that's it. Whereas when I first got to Germany, it was, I think, one kiss on the cheek, and that was weird for me. Then I got here to France, in the south of France where I used to live, and it was 2 kisses on the cheek. Then I went up a little bit, 1 hour north, and it's 3 kisses. Some places in France is 4 kisses. Where I live here, it's 2 kisses. And if you hug someone, whoa, almost dropped the light. And, hold on, let me fix this up. Ugh. There we go. And if you hug someone, that's actually like weird to them. You know, and that's just a culture difference. And that's just something so small. There's other things that are so much more different and so many more things you didn't realize. But when you travel solo and you see these, it's not only traveling solo, but just traveling in general, you see these different things, you see these different cultures, and you realize that you really don't know as much as you thought you did. Okay, number 4, it is a challenge, and it will always be a challenge. There's always going to be things that come up when you're traveling solo that you're going to be so like, oh my gosh, you're going to start freaking out. You're going to get that, you guys know that feeling when you reach in your pocket for your phone and you don't see your phone and you have that little mini heart attack? Like, this happens a lot in solo traveling. You're gonna arrive at a place and you're gonna get there and you will have looked up the guidebook to how to speak the language, and you think you know where your hotel is, and you're gonna arrive and no one can understand your accent. There's no taxis at the airport like they said it would be on TripAdvisor. You get to the hotel and the people are, it's always gonna be challenges that come up. And those are the things that really make it interesting. You know, as I always tell my friends whenever I'm trying to get people to do stuff and come out the house, or people are tired, they don't want to come out, I'm like, guys, come on out. Like I always say, especially in hostels, this is like my famous line in hostels. If you ever met me in a hostel, you already know this. When people are tired after a long day, we've all been walking around, or, you know, everyone's kind of doing the same thing, busy all day, and then in the night, people are tired, and I'm like, guys, let's go out. And people are always like, yeah, I'm so tired. I'm like, guys, if you go to sleep tonight right now, it's 11 o'clock. If you go to bed, you're never gonna remember this night, because you don't remember those times when you got a great night's sleep. But you guys will remember if it's 11 o'clock and we all go out and we have a great time. For example, in Rome, we all went out, we sit outside the Colosseum, we have wine and pizza, and we stay there till 7 o'clock in the morning. Those are the days, those are the moments that you remember. And as I've talked about in the podcast a couple times, which is linked below, by the way, podcast crew, if you're here, what's going on, is that when I was on the island of Mallorca, this was like a couple years ago, on all the bus stops, on everything, they had one quote. And it said, late nights make great stories. And that kind of shows you that things are a challenge, but when you push through those challenges, you push those boundaries, that's when you really start to grow. Number 5, you will discover yourself. People say that when you're traveling, like, the only way that you can find yourself is to lose yourself. And I agree with that, but to take it one step further, one way you could find yourself is to be lost, to lose yourself, to get frustrated, to not have anyone to turn to. That's what makes, like, for me, you get the thrill, you get to feel alive. You know, when you're traveling with people and you're looking at the map, hold on, let me get something to look like a map. You're traveling with people, you look at the map like, okay, all right, this is where we need to go. You don't understand, you're just like, hey, where do I, like, you have people to turn to. When you're solo traveling, it's like, okay, oh man, you have to dig down deep inside of you and figure it out. And I think that's when you start to really learn about yourself. So not even growing, but you take it to a completely different level, learning about yourself in ways that you wouldn't have learned if all you had to do was like, hey, you know where this place is, bro? Okay, cool. Like, it's not the same. And I think that's one of the things that discovering yourself is why traveling for me is one of the most amazing things, because you're forced to get out of your comfort zone. And when you're solo traveling, you're coming out your comfort zone and you have to dig deep inside to solve some problem. And number 6, you are not alone. There are so many other people traveling. There's so many other travelers out there. There's so many other people who have been traveling solo for years. There's so many other people who, on the other hand, there's so many people who have just started traveling and it's their first solo travel trip. So I know when you want to travel by yourself, you get that nervous feeling and the whole world just seems to be closing in around you, and you just feel like, wow, my gosh, I'm all by myself in this new place. But when you change your mindset, you realize that you see everything and the world is around you, but not like this on top. You choose, like I said before, you choose how you want to do it. If you want to have a day when you're quiet and you walk around, I have plenty of days like that. There's plenty of times when I'm finished shooting the vlog, there's an hour where I put my camera in my bag, I put my headphones on, and I just kind of walk around and just enjoy. And I think that that's one thing that you need to understand, is that there's a lot of other people solo traveling as well, and that are loving it at the same time. And this is not a video just to say, it's not a video to say you shouldn't travel in groups. This is great. Travel with people you care about. That's awesome. But just for solo traveling, it's just a different experience. And there's so many other people who are doing it. And one reason why I love staying in hostels is because in these hostels, you have plenty of other people who are just starting it, who have the same fears as you, who are just as nervous as you, who have no idea about the city or the language or the culture just the same as you do. So understand that you're not alone. You're around a lot of other people very similar to you. And not only do I not like this term, people are like, you're going there alone. No, it's like I'm going by myself. I'll meet people on the way. Like it doesn't mean anything. It just means you arrive by yourself, which has its automatic kind of freedoms in itself of you choosing what to do, you choosing who to meet. And one reason I say stay in hostels, because by doing this, you'll be able to meet more people like-minded just like you, and also who are going through the same things and have the same challenges that you have. Okay, number 7, your network is your net worth. When I talk to people and, I guess I should rephrase it. One of the most beneficial things that I know traveling, the most valuable skill for me personally is not someone who has a lot of money traveling, not someone who travels with all these bags and has security and all the, there's nothing wrong. I have friends like this. There's nothing wrong with this. But I think the number one skill to have is the ability to meet people and to work with people. Because your network meaning the people who you meet, the people who you know, these are the people that determine your net worth. Because you can show up in a place with no money, have nothing. But if you have the ability to meet people, they can help you, they can lead you this way. You have a value exchange that goes on. There's so many ways that you can help each other. And if there's one thing that I think people need to work on, it is their people skills, because that is so valuable. It's by far the most valuable skill that I work on and I learn. And I think by doing that, you meet people from all over the world. When I used to live in the south of France, the main thing I loved was that every single weekend when I was there for 4 or 5 years, that I was meeting new people. I was meeting 4 or 5 new people that lived in 4 or 5 different countries. And what I used to do before the vlog and before YouTube, before all this kind of stuff, is in the summers, I would just go around and visit these people. So the whole reason you guys who come here for travel videos, you've seen me in Montenegro and Croatia and Poland and America and Germany and Spain, all these things, most of the time I went there for some people who I met. Most of the time. I would never went to Poland. I might never even known about Poland and everything, how amazing it is, if I wouldn't have met those people. If I wouldn't have met those people when I was in Mallorca, which I'll try to put that video here if I can, but I would never know if I wouldn't have met those people. I probably wouldn't have went to Germany if I didn't meet those people that I had there. And so many times I've realized it's not even because I went there to see someone, but because the people who I met told me about an amazing time, an amazing place. I end up going there because of something someone told me. So understand that your network determines your net worth. Remember that. And number 8, this is pretty important. When you're solo traveling, you have a lot of time to observe. You really take in everything. And not only are you taking everything in, but everything is, when you're walking around, you're not being distracted talking to someone about something else. You really are taking in everything. And every interaction you have with people, that goes into your brain as an experience. You meet someone on the street, that's an experience. You meet these people who work in a coffee shop, that's your experience. And all that stuff just helps you to better understand people. And I think after a point of traveling, you start to realize when you meet someone that you've kind of met someone very similar to them before. And it allows you to, as I said in the last thing, is that it allows you to be able to connect better with people. So the more you meet people, the better you become with people, and the better you can meet more people, which in turn allows you to be better with people, to meet more people, and then your network and net worth is even bigger than before because of the relationships and bonds that you build with people. And number 9, this is you learn to create your own fuel. And this is something that I take outside of solo traveling that helps me in my daily life. You are the fuel that fires, that powers yourself. You become internally motivated, because when you wake up in the morning and you're in a new country, there's no one saying, hey, come on, you got to go on that walking tour. We've been waiting for you since 9 o'clock in the morning. No, you're the boss. You have to be internally motivated. You want to get a couple workouts in before you start going out about your day. You want to walk around trying to get your 20,000 steps in while you're on vacation. Do you want to keep on going here after you're tired? Like, you are the one that's driving that fuel. Like, you're the one creating it. There's no one saying, come on, bro, come on, Lou, come on, let's get up and go to this place. It's not the same. You are in control of that. So all this stuff you've done when you've been solo traveling already, you're all internally motivated. Even if you went to a place with one itinerary, you don't have to stick to it. You don't have to do it. You can sit in your room, your hotel, your hostel all day. But no, you internally motivated yourself to get up and get out and do something. And that's powerful, because that translates into your real life, or when you go back to wherever your home or your job or the city where you're actually from, that still, those habits you have from being internally motivated will stick with you, which I think is something that is super, super, super important and can be very valuable at all points and in all aspects of your life. And number 10, probably one of the most important things I think, which has changed my life completely the last 2 years, is as you solo travel, you realize the importance of sharing. You realize the importance of, as you're going around and you're having this time to process everything for yourself, that just as important it is to process everything for yourself, and just as important as it is, as I talk about a lot in the podcast, is to be calm and have moments to process it. You understand the important need of sharing it, to sharing all those things that you've processed and you've understood. Because traveling and taking selfies all around the world is cool, but when you learn how to share it and bring value to other people, create a podcast, create a travel blog, create a YouTube channel, and you're able to help other people using your own experiences and things that you've done, it's been one of the most probably amazing things in my life, and something that I never could have imagined. I traveled for so many years just by myself and meeting people and traveling with people and did all this kind of stuff, and it was great. But it wasn't until I finished the traveling and I go back home to my friends, and I would be sitting there and I'd have almost like a little after post-travel like depression kind of, because I did all these amazing things. I traveled the world. I remember the year that I traveled one summer for 3 months straight and went everywhere. Poland, Greece, Spain, Canary Islands. I went everywhere. And I remember coming home and, okay, I told 1 or 2 stories, but then I was like, no one wants to hear all these stories that I had. I had amazing stories. Every single night I had at least two or three stories. I met amazing people, had the most amazing time. And I realized, like, when I came home and I was sitting by myself, and I was like, I don't want to bore people with my stories, because no one person's going to want to hear 50,000 stories while they're here and frustrated at their life and what's going on there. I was like, like, if I was able to share it, and that's when I was like, maybe I start a blog, or I start something like this. And it wasn't until I started vlogging like 2 years ago and being able to share the journeys and travels that it just completely changed my life. It not only justified going out and just doing a solo travel trip, which is something I didn't need, and not even a solo travel trip. I travel with people all the time. I just film myself. I don't film necessarily when I'm with a lot of people. There's so many times I film and the people I'm traveling with are right next to me. I just don't have them in the frame, because it's not about that. It's not about sharing every little tiny intimate moment of my life. It's trying to share a story, share an experience, and bring people along and allow people to have an escape. And no matter how boring you think your life is, something I talk about in the podcast a lot, it's interesting for some people. And it's interesting for a lot of people, because most of the time your life, your travel, your experiences, they're only boring to you. And I think that one thing we need to realize, or you need to realize, we need to realize, is that by traveling and seeing the world and processing everything, that we are able to share it through our perspective. Because you guys don't know what it's, trust me, you guys don't know what it's like to travel walk through Warsaw being a 6'8" African-American guy. A lot of people don't know what that's like. And being 120 kilos and being this huge guy, people don't know what it's like. But I don't know what it's like to be a 17-year-old who just left school and they're moving to a new apartment in Krakow, Poland. I'm just mentioning Poland a lot. It's my favorite country. But they moved to Krakow, Poland. They're trying to figure out their life there. I don't know what it's like. And when you put one person in one city and you put another person in the same city, their perspectives are completely different. And I think by sharing it, you share your perspective, which I think is one of the most important things you can do. And by traveling and solo traveling, I think is one of the times it's been able to amplify my experience and ability to share, because my ability to learn has went up because I figured everything out by myself. I've been on there, I've had a lot of help, but at the end of the day, I had to make my own decisions. I had to choose whether I wanted to do this or not. And ultimately, I had to live with the consequences. So I think that is very important that you understand the power of it, and understanding that one of the best things you can do is share your perspective. And yeah, I think that's kind of it for today's video. I was trying to make it a real short video, but I felt like you guys need to know all this kind of stuff. 10 things for solo travel. These are things that I think are super important and why you all should do it as well. I'm running late to my practice I'm running really late to my practice, but want to get this video out to you guys. Want to thank you guys for watching. You guys want to win the podcast? This is what happens when your brain goes into freak out mode. You want to win the postcards, write in the comments where you're from and something else you'd like to see, some kind of video like this about traveling, about anything you want to hear about, just so I can have some videos that I can make when I don't feel like vlogging, or just I feel like I need to create something and not a vlog. So just let me know, and I'm going to be running literally to training, and I'll talk to you guys. And I'll talk to you guys all later. Thank you guys so much for your support, podcast crew. Thank you guys for being here. If you haven't checked out my book, my latest book is in the comments. In the description. My brain is like starting to. See, this is what happens. It's a challenge. Like solo travels like this. Like there's no one I can turn to. Like, hey, get my stuff. No, solo. I gotta do this. Okay, but latest book is linked in the description. Podcast is linked in the description. Feel free to leave comments. Can't wait to send out 3 postcards. Actually, I'm gonna give out 4 postcards to 4 people in the comments. And I think that's kind of it. Have a beautiful day, stay warm. I'll talk to you guys all later. And everyone always remember to work hard, be brave, and don't forget to smile. Ciao.